Hi Park family, it's David. Okay, the update for today is today I spent my time working on the Murderer's Lair portion of David's Park and David City, and I took that particular shell and attraction and I expanded upon it a little bit. And so I was having a conversation with my wife Candace yesterday about the amount of time it takes to develop the park and the city so that they're, ultimately a quality park and a quality city where we can do all the things we'd love to do and keep the low flow of certain, like the law of keep the low flow of the law of numbers intact in the park and in the city, and keep the flow of the low flow of the city and of the park moving constantly. And I was just kind of letting her know that it takes, I've spent maybe about 5 years working on developing the things that I'm working on currently, and inspiration and revelation comes slowly but surely, day after day. And so if we get an initial draft of a particular shell or attraction built, it could be a year or two before we receive additional inspiration on it, to the point where we say, oh, you know what, like a previous version of it looked okay, but this particular version looks better. And so with David's Park and David City, you just kind of keep working with it, and it evolves over time. And so we're going to spend what I call a first 5, 7 to 10 year period developing our park map, our park shells, and our park attractions. And then we're going to spend an additional 5, 7 to 10 year period developing the existing park and city map, shells, and attractions further. And so by doing it in this fashion, we believe ultimately it'll yield one quality park, hopefully one quality park in our lifetime. And so I just want to get that on record, and I will talk to you guys again real soon. All right, bye. Good morning, Park family, it's David. Okay, yesterday I spent my time expanding the Murderer's Lair and shell and part of David's Park and David City. And today I may do something similar to some of the other shells and attractions in the park. And so expanding certain areas expanding certain shells and certain attractions can kind of stimulate our creative juices and our imaginations for the park and city more. And so I'm going to spend some time kind of expanding certain areas of the park. Like last night I worked a little bit more on the treasure chest, and I worked a little bit more on, I spent some time on the treasure chest, and so I fixed up the treasure chest a little bit, added a little bit more to it. And yesterday I did similar things. I just kind of added a few more things that I thought would go well in the Murderer's Lair. And so anyhow, we do the things we do with certain shells and attractions in David's Park and David City to keep the low flow of David's Park and David City constantly moving. And we do that for good reason and with purpose. And so we'll keep those things in David's Park and David City constantly flowing with their low flow in David's Park and David City. And that's all for now, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon. All right, bye. Good morning, Park family, it's David. Yesterday I made quite a bit of progress. I and I was very well pleased with what I got done. So I created two videos that I uploaded to my YouTube channel, and I spliced some video footage of Disneyland Storybook Land, and I interwove it into some of David's Park and David City artwork, just to kind of help, again, stimulate our imaginations and get our creative juices flowing. And so I did that, and I'm gonna do that from time to time, just to kind of help us envision perhaps what some of the rides and thrills and adventures and some of our not so very good tales should be like in David's Park and David City. And so we're kind of lacking when it comes to park tales and storybook type things for David's Park and David City. And so we need to focus some of our energy and some of our attention on developing quality tales for David's Park and David City. So we can do that in song, we can do it in dance, we can do it in theater, we can do it in in character, and we can do it in different things in the park. And so we'll take this first 5, 7 to 10 year period to continue to work on the shells for David's Park and David City. We'll continue to refine the map for David's Park and David City. And then in the next 5, 7 to 10 years, we'll continue to expand upon the things that we create as far as the shells and the attractions and the maps are concerned for David's Park. And I believe we'll be able to get some good quality tales for the park by contemplating on those shells, attractions, and maps. And so yesterday I created a not so very jungle shell, or not so very welcome to the jungle shell attraction and map. And these are just temporary names that I'm giving them. I may give them different names at a later time, but these are some names that work for the time being. So the not so very welcome to the jungle shell, I was very well pleased with, and I'm gonna add that to some video here in the near future with some of the different maps that I've created for David's Park and David City. So anyhow, I just wanted to get that on record here this morning, and I will talk to you guys again real soon. All right, bye. Good morning, Park family. It's David. Okay, today I'm gonna go back in here inside the Carolyn Owens Center, and I'm going to work on trying to receive inspiration and revelation for what David will call well, not what I'm going to call today. I'm going to continue to strive to receive inspiration and revelation for different things that we should do in David's Park and David City. So, for example, I'm not sure that we want to have a zoo inside of David's Park and in David City, but I'm going to go ahead and create a shell for it so that I can consider the option. And then I don't know that we'll have a Pioneer Land or a Wild Wild West land or shell in David's Park and in David City, but we'll go ahead and create a Pioneer shell and Pioneer Land and Pioneer Attraction map so that we can at least consider it as an option. And then we'll also consider a Wild West shell, Wild West attraction, and Wild West map to consider, for David's Park and David City. And so ultimately, after I take these different themes for these different shells, I'm going to strive to combine them all into one map for David's Park and David City. So the goal would be within the next 5, 7 to 10 years to have one quality map created with all the different shells that we'd like to have in it, which I call the 7 attractions. And then I also wanted to just get this final thought down, which is in regards to let's see. Oh, just adding, this is in regards to adding the fine details, like tiny little details to each one of the shells, and tiny little details in each one of the attractions, and tiny little details in each of the maps, and in the engineering for each of those shells and attractions. A lot of fine detail goes into each and every one of these things, and it's a lot of fun to go in there and put intriguing little details into each and every little thing we do in David's Park and in David City. And so our goal is to, within our lifetime, create one quality park and one quality city where we can have all the fun that we'd love to have, where we can work really hard and diligently, where we can stay on task and accomplish the things that God would like us to get accomplished in our lifetime, and fulfill any purpose that God would like us to fulfill in our lifetime. And so anyhow, that's what I'm going to be spending my time on today, and I will talk to you guys again real soon. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Hi, Park family. It's David. Okay, today I got 2 shells created. One was for the not so very Welcome to the Jungle shell in David's Park in David City, and then the other shell is for the not so very zoo or not so very animal shell or land or attraction in David's Park in David City. And I was well pleased with what I've got. They're foundational shells, and so with time and attention to detail, we can go back into each of these shells and we can find intriguing little details to add to each specific area in each of these shells. And then you can contemplate on ways to make it more fun and make it more magical and make it more adventurous and keep it real while blending a little bit of magic, a little bit of imagination, a little bit of wonder, and then at the same time keeping everything real with each of these shells and with David's Park and David City. And so anyhow, I just want to update you guys on that today. I'm well pleased with what we got done. Look forward to adding additional intriguing details to each of the shells for David's Park and David City. And I look forward to talking to you guys again real soon, and I'll talk to you later.